Are you looking for the best graphics card? In this video we will look at some of the best graphics card. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Asus TUF Gaming Radeon RX 7900 XTX OC. The AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX takes the top spot for the best graphics card on the market, and we haven't made this decision lightly. In our testing, we found that this top-end RDNA 3 GPU offers exceptional value for money, given its performance that many other video cards in its price bracket just can't contend with. This is further bolstered by its huge 24GB GDDR6 VRAM and 384-bit memory bus for a bandwidth of 960.0 GB per second, which is second only behind the RTX 4090 at around two-thirds its price. In our full AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX review, we said that it's a stellar graphics card for 4K gaming with enough under the hood to achieve high frame rates natively, as the bulk of our testing was done without the help of FSR to showcase its prowess. That extends to the 1440p gaming potential, too, as the flagship RDNA 3 video card was able to achieve well over 100 frames per second averages when maxed out in titles such as Cyberpunk 2077, Doom Eternal, and Far Cry 6, so high refresh rate monitors will benefit from the added power, especially when utilizing fluid motion frames, frame generation, where available. This GPU is just as strong in synthetic testing as well, with leading figures in the likes of Firestrike, Time Spy, and Port Royal showcasing the advancements made with the newer TSMC 5nm process over its predecessor. It's second only to the RTX 4090 as this video card outperforms the RTX 4080 Super, which is available at the same price. That's why we've decided to include this one as the stronger value play in the $999 price bracket. You're getting more raw power with a greater amount of VRAM without splashing out unnecessarily. The Asus TUF RX 7900 XTX has been rated by 390+ customers, and it has a rating of 4.4 stars on Amazon. As per the reviews, most buyers said that the graphics card runs games at high FPS and is of good quality. They also think that it's reasonably priced. One of the reviews reads, "One of the best GPU cards available today from AMD. Could not be happier." That being said, a few customers thought that the card was too big in size. Number 2. Asus ROG Strix RTX 4060 OC Edition. If you're looking to get a high-quality graphics card for 1080p gaming, then you can look no further than the RTX 4060. While it may be humbly spec'd out, the weakest of the current ADA lineup still offers exceptional gaming in full HD, especially when compared to its rival, the RX 7600. It's available now for $299, depending on the partner card of choice, as the cheapest way to get your hands on DLSS 3 frame generation for a much-needed frame rate boost. In our testing, we found that the RTX 4060 more than lived up to its promise of providing cash-strapped gamers with average frame rates of 60 frames per second and above in today's demanding titles. This includes games such as Cyberpunk 2077, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Far Cry 6, with certain titles such as Doom Eternal, CS, GO, and Rainbow Six Siege pushing up into the 300+ FPS mark. Simply put, if you're looking for a capable GPU for full HD gaming, this one hits all the right notes. Our full RTX 4060 review goes over the specifics in more detail, but to summarize, there's a lot of performance that's been squeezed out of the AD107 die, the only ADA model on this GPU, with the 8GB GDDR6 and smaller 128-bit memory bus best utilized for this lower resolution. 1440p is possible, but your mileage is going to vary. We recommend the RTX 4060 if you want something with a little more horsepower for QHD, but you're paying another $100 to $200, depending on VRAM allocation. The Asus ROG Strix RTX 4060 GPU has a rating of 4.7 stars. Judging from the 1800+ ratings, it seems to be a popular choice. As per the reviews, buyers seem to be pleased with the performance, build quality, aesthetics, and even the cooling system. It runs great in so far. Number 3. Asus ROG Strix RTX 4090 OC. If we're talking from a strictly technical perspective, then the NVIDIA RTX 4090 is confidently the best graphics card that money can buy in 2024, as nothing quite comes close to its performance potential. The NVIDIA flagship features a staggering 24GB GDDR6X VRAM and a leading bandwidth of 1008 GB per second, being the fastest consumer GPU available. As the only video card built on the AD102 die and featuring 16,384 CUDA cores, Team Green's frontrunner can play anything at 4K with impressive results. Now, whether you strictly need all of this excess power or not is going to come down to your use case. For example, if you're purely after a gaming GPU, then we recommend the RX 7900 XTX over this one, and the price is a major factor. Simply put, the RTX 4090 doesn't come cheap with its $1,599 price tag, and that's before factoring in partner variants, which can run as costly as $2,000 and up. If you want to be on the bleeding edge and use your machine for all manner of tasks, then there's nothing better. In our full RTX 4090 review, we praised the second-generation BF GPU for how it delivered true 4K gaming at 60 frames per second and above, with ray tracing enabled in the likes of Microsoft Flight Simulator, Warzone, Cyberpunk 2077, and Doom Eternal without breaking a sweat, with frame rates in their hundreds when knocking down to 1440p. It's a steep price of investment, yes, but considering the memory pool and the lead it has over all other consumer cards, it may be worth it for you, if you would rather not upgrade again for a long time. On Amazon, the Asus ROG Strix RTX 4090 has a 4.5 star rating, and the product has been rated by over 640 customers. From what we gathered through the customer reviews, buyers were pleased with the performance, build quality, and aesthetics of the GPU. I upgraded from a 3080 to this 4090. The difference is nothing short of astounding, one of the customers noted in a review. However, the opinions were mixed on the card size, as some people pointed out that it was a huge card. Further, a lot of buyers said that the GPU was too pricey. Number 4. Asus TUF RTX 4070 Super OC Edition. The NVIDIA RTX 4070 Super redefines what a mid-range graphics card can do in 2024 by generously bumping up the CUDA core count by 20% of the original while keeping the price tag the same. Ultimately, price is a major factor in the jump from Ampere to Ada, so if you're running the likes of the RTX 3070, then this graphics card could be the one that helps you jump ship, especially as it's running DLSS 3 frame generation for far higher frame rates, enabling strong 1440p gaming and even 4K. In our NVIDIA RTX 4070 Super review, we were impressed by the video card's abilities in these two target resolutions, with confident performance above 60 frames per second in the likes of Cyberpunk 2077, Doom Eternal, CS2, The Finals, and Assassin's Creed Mirage, with some titles even crossing over the 100 frames per second mark. That extra bit of power also means that 4K is more of a possibility as well, which we saw playable figures of around 60 frames per second or above in titles such as Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, as well as the aforementioned. This GPU is flexing what's possible from the AD104 die when pushed to its limits, and all the better for it, which is also reflected in the clock speeds, as the RTX 4070 Super is no slouch. Out of the box, this GPU runs at 1980 MHz, and that can be boosted all the way to 2475 MHz, or even higher if you've got an OC model such as with our review unit. For most people, this is going to be the sweet spot between power and performance, and it's priced accordingly from $599. The Asus TUF RTX 4070 Super OC Edition has a rating of 4.7 stars, and more than 580 people have rated the graphics card. Looking at the reviews, most people seem to praise the performance and build quality of the GPU. So much nicer, huge improvement to gaming. FPS are crazy, 300 plus FPS now, and somehow it's cooler than my Asus RTX 2060, one of the customers said in a review. However, opinions were mixed about the value of the GPU. Number 5. Acer Predator BiFrost Intel Arc 770 OC. While Intel's been a dominant name in the field of the best CPUs for gaming for decades, that's not the case with its video card division until recently. After a somewhat difficult launch window for Alchemist, many of the issues that plagued Team Blue's foray into the mainstream GPU scene have largely been resolved. Combine this with aggressive pricing and respectable hardware, and the Arc 770 stands out as a respected rival to what Nvidia and AMD are doing in its price bracket. That's because the Intel Arc A770 features 16GB GDDR6 VRAM with a 256-bit memory bus for a larger bandwidth than what's possible from the similarly priced NVIDIA RTX 4060 and AMD RX 7600. While Team Red clapped back with the AMD RX 7600 XT, its memory pool couldn't quite be utilized the same way that Intel's leader has done, hence its positioning here. In our full Intel Arc A770 review, we found that this card outperformed both models in 1440p, too. Not bad considering that you can pick up an Intel Arc A770 for around $300, but that comes with something of a caveat. That's the drivers and compatibility with older games, especially anything older than DirectX 11 just due to the lack of legacy support that NVIDIA and AMD have in place, as well as the need for rebar, which 10th gen Intel and 3rd gen Ryzen CPUs can accommodate. If you're using an older chipset or have concerns regarding driver compatibility, you may want an alternative. The Acer Predator BiFrost Intel Arc A770 card has a 4.1 star rating on Amazon. Some 170 customers have rated the product, and most of them felt that the product had a good price-to-performance ratio. One of the customers said, "Price makes this a very compelling option, and these ARC cards are frequently on sale or bundled with promos like free games." Opinions were mixed on the appearance and cooling system.